All right, so we'll talk about the haters thing again. Right, because you want, those people, doubting you and criticizing you. Because I'll tell you the truth about that is, like, a lot of people who do those kind of activities can't do what you do, right? Can't, perform like you do in whatever, skill you're doing. And I remember one example of this is I had a musician friend who asked me to come up on stage with them as a kid, and I was very nervous. Whoa, very loud. And I even voiced my nervousness. He could tell that I wasn't really feeling myself. I wasn't really feeling the most sure about it. And from that, he told me this. He said, all those people that you see out there in the crowd, and he didn't say this to be hostile or to be rude or cocky or anything. He said, and let's look at our watch real quick. So subtract from 14. Okay, I was just looking at my watch real quick, and he said that all those people that you see watching you, they can't do what you do. They can say whatever they want to say. They can do whatever they want to do. They can yell as loud as they want to yell. But in the end, you have, something that they don't. You can do something that they can't. And that's get up on stage and perform and show what you've got. And you can apply that to anything, right? You're, an employee, a sales employee, and you handle phone calls from clients, and they criticize you, right? They say, they're not competent, they're not whatever. They don't agree. Hey, what's up? They don't agree with everything that you're doing, right? They're very picky. And what you got to realize is that they're not doing what you're doing. They can't, right? They don't have the skill set to do that. And for that reason, they might lack the part of that brain, that part of their being, personality, whatever you call it, that has a capacity for understanding and that knows, what those salespeople go through. And what it would do is it would show them, the real, definition of what it takes to do this work and what it demands from them. And they'd have something called empathy, for you. But they don't. They haven't been in that position. And if they were, they probably would have that they would have that empathy. Right? They wouldn't be criticizing you, although they still could, but it would come from a different place. You could say it would come from a more constructive place, right? It'd be more like a been there, done that type of talk, right? It would be more like, I've been here for a couple years, I've done this. Hey, and you can tell, they don't have to directly tell you this, but in the way that they talk, right, it'll come from a different place, a more wise, more instructional, more useful place than someone simply throwing an opinion at you. Because that's what it may be. You can call it shallow, you can call it razor thin, because there's nothing behind it, really. There's no substance, right? No, I'd say useful substance, because although they have, all the events that shaped, within their life to make them want you to do that, but it doesn't come from a place of knowledge in your realm, probably not useful knowledge, right? Because they don't know, the proper pattern, that you have to do to be successful, because they simply haven't achieved it. Because that's the best way, to learn about something, right? It's not necessarily, to read 1,000 books about, let's say, and I know the perfect example of this, right? Say you're playing basketball and you want to have the best jump shot ever, like ever, better than Stephen Curry or Marcus Smart or whatever three-point shooter you name. And you decide that you're gonna go out and read a bunch of books and articles and watch videos of shooting form and try to find out what it takes to be successful in that. And what you can say is that you'll probably learn, you know, a lot of useful tips on your shooting. But what you'll come to realize is that when you step onto the basketball court, you probably won't be able to shoot like him. And that's fine. And what you got to realize is that they didn't get into their position simply by, you know, just sitting around and getting knowledge, right? I'm pretty sure Stephen Curry, you know, didn't, you know, just sit around and read books. He went to the gym every morning, or for how long that he did, and he shot and shot and shot and worked with coaches and got feedback and shot more until, you know, he became who he is today. And he continues to shoot every day, because if he didn't, he would lose his skill set. He would lose his ability to perform at the level that he does today. So from that knowledge is, you know, simply not enough to make you good at what you want to do. You want to show up and go to that gym and apply that knowledge, because what will happen is that you'll fail, right? You want to actually fail, because if you're just sitting and reading the book, how much failing are you really doing? You're just sitting back and getting all the knowledge from other people, which is fine for a certain point, but you want to go beyond that. You got to actively experience that knowledge. You're gonna have it directly thrown at you, right? And that's almost like you could use the concept of like first person, right? First person shooter. That's what comes to my mind. You know, those old video games, you know, when you're playing as a character, you see their perspective, you see what they're seeing, you know, and you fight the battles that they're fighting. And then you have third person, which you see that person playing, but you're not directly seeing through their perspective. You're seeing from behind them or around them or whichever. And that's not to say that that may be useful, right? Because you can actually see more now. You see pretty much everything going on. But you need to be doing these things through first person. You need to have that first-hand knowledge of what you're doing. And experience will make you stronger. It'll make you harder, right? It'll make you tougher, right? Because that's why, you know, let's say you want to be a Navy SEAL, right? And it'd be foolish to say, you know, that you would expect to be a Navy SEAL just by reading about it and learning about it. No, what you'll learn is that the Navy SEALs, they want you to be out there with them, training, right? What would Hell Week be if the Navy SEALs simply just sat around and read books all day, right? It'd be laughable. It wouldn't be the same, you know, as them actually going out to the field and working on themselves, right? And becoming actual SEALs, which is what they want to do.